I want to ask the question. We got to lead with something that I think people really want to talk about. And this is the Batman modern suit, right?
Ooh.
Is this the Batman to own? Because it's not the only Keaton Batman that exists out there, right? We just got recently a reissue announcement or a 2.0 announcement of the Batman from Batman 89 with Michael Keaton. It has purrs, it has a cool base, it has a bunch of cool accessories. So now we got this one from the Flash film, which is sort of old Keaton Batman. We haven't even seen the film yet. I also don't rule out the fact, I was thinking about this before the show started. What if there's another one of these coming battle damaged, right?
Ooh,
battle damage. We
okay.
haven't seen that in the trailer yet, but there could be something that shows up later in the film. Maybe he gets some battle damage. They go with the battle damage Keaton. Because I looked at the data here for Hot Toys so far in 2023. Every single announcement has been Batman related for DC. Every single one. Like there hasn't been a single character that's been announced. The only one was Bane. Bane is a Batman villain.
Damn.
Like that's it, right? Everything else is Batman 89, Batmobile, Batman 89, The Dark Knight, Christian Bale. Like it's all that. That's the only thing they're making from DC right now. So pretty interesting. We'll see if they make the Flash. They didn't make Shazam, right? We'll see if they make actual Flash. Right. But anyway, I want to ask you, Riley, first.
How are they going to make Black Adam and not Shazam? Sorry.
I don't know.
Well, it's funny because they both didn't do well at the box office. I mean, Shazam did worse, but
yeah, it's true.
Hot Toys just doesn't give a fuck about Shazam. They just do that there. Because the first one, like, it wasn't a huge box office success, but it was critically acclaimed. People really liked it, and it performed pretty solidly. Like, it wasn't a loss or anything, from what I remember. Yeah. So, and they still didn't make it. So,
but they teased it, didn't they?
Yeah, teased it on April Fools. Yeah. Which I don't think it was an April Fool's joke, because that's a pretty shitty joke. That's a pretty fucked up troll if they did do that. But anyway, Riley, what do you think, bro? Is this the Batman 89 to own? Because I feel like people are going to have to choose. But I've seen a lot of people say they're getting both. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a really tough one. I mean, I feel like it kind of depends on the collector, really. Is this the type of character where you had nostalgia from the previous films? Obviously, 89, very iconic. I think me and Will are one of the ones that aren't as much fans of the 89. I don't know if Dean is as well, but I'm personally not as big of a fan, maybe because obviously I'm from a younger generation. But I will say this figure looks amazing. I think I still don't understand. We'll talk about this sculpt. I still think they nailed it. I know there's people in the community, or there's Carlos and Nick, they're saying they don't see it. It's so funny though. Someone said in my chat, this looks more like Joe Biden. I don't know if
Joe Biden.
Yeah. Someone was like, this is Joe Biden. And now I can kind of see it with the hair a little bit.
I don't see Joe Biden here.
But I'll say, I think the Keaton likeness is there. I think it's like at least 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like if it stayed like this, I don't have any problems with. Yeah, there's other people saying like, as an old man sculpt, yes, it's amazing, but they don't see Keaton. I do. I think it's great. So I'll say in that aspect, amazing. I think the suit, I've been talking about this in my Facebook group. I'm not a Keaton fan, but I love the suit. I think this new suit is amazing. I think it's going to pop on your shelf. I'd even say it could be even the best figure-wise bat suit ever. I think it's really good. I love the yellow symbol. I like how they kind of made it obviously more modern, not the yellow belt. I just think it's going to look really bad. And then the base, the light-up base, like that's classy. This is going to look really classy on the shelf. So what I will say, is this the one to own? It really depends really how much you love the film, I'd say. Because for me, I'm like trying to be super selective, and I'm like, I'm probably not going to get this as much as I love the way it looks. That said, if we watch this Flash film, and as it's being called like the best movie ever, everyone's hyping up this movie like crazy. If I love this movie and it blows out of proportion, I'll be tempted to pick this up, honestly, because like I said, I think this is an amazing announcement. But there are people who love the original, the 89 with the yellow belt, and that got released a couple months ago. But I'd say if you had to choose, I think I'd go the new, honestly. I think the base is better. I think you got the Keaton likeness, you got the head sculpt, and the suit just looks beautiful. So the only thing I don't like is that little fabric thing above the logo. I feel like that looks kind of weird, but I don't know. That's probably accurate. But other than that, amazing release. Great job on Hot Toys. But yeah, an interesting week because we had this beautiful release. Then the one before with the 2099 is a little interesting. So we're gonna get into it.
Riley, I'm gonna tell people, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you look at that head sculpt and you don't see Michael Keaton,
I don't get it.
Joe Biden, I don't understand,
man.
Like
I see it.
It's
Through
so
and throughout.
good. It's really
It's-
good. This is one of the best Hot Toys head sculpts they've done in a while, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah,
Like,
totally
you know,
agree.
I'm not a huge fan of Keaton Batman. You know, I saw 12-inch Moose Stream was saying ban Riley's gonna, and then Jose was like, you're gonna have to ban Will too, which is true, which is true,
Exactly.
which is true. And we're gonna hear Dean's thoughts. But for me, Riley, it's interesting. I would say overall, it depends how good the film is, like you said, right? Because
Right.
the 89 Batman is so iconic to a lot of collectors. They love
Right.
89 Batman. And I know you and I are a little bit different. Like, I liked it, I watched it, I enjoyed it, but it's not personal to me like The Dark Knight is, right?
Right.
I know Dean's a little bit different on that one, but I will say 89 Batman is not my cup of tea necessarily. I enjoyed it, but I don't feel the need to collect it. That said, I do know people love their nostalgia, and that's as nostalgic as it gets. So just depends how good this film is. I kind of, like I said, I keep comparing it to old Luke versus young Luke. I feel like, again, sequel trilogy, obviously maybe not as exciting as this Flash film to some people, but I think at the end of the day, most people would rather have a young Luke than an old Luke. So I guess it just depends. Dean, what do you think, bro? Is this the Batman to own? You know, because we got the 89 2.0 coming out as well.
Short answer, no. Longer answer, unless this movie is so mind-bending, like that it redeems the whole DC EU or whatever the fuck it's called. I just don't see in 20 years people talking about the Flash movie like people talk about Batman 89.
That's fair.
Yeah.
These these DC movies have been entertaining, but you know, are people really gonna give a shit in 20 years? I just don't see it happening. I don't know. Maybe kids, you know, today grow up and think it's the fucking greatest thing that was ever put on film, but I just don't see it happening. So to me, the 89 Batman is the Batman to get. That's not to say that this figure is not fucking cool. This figure looks amazing. I think they nailed Keaton's head sculpt. I can't not see Keaton. I don't know where people are getting that it doesn't look like him. It looks very well articulated. You could move it around. You know, obviously you're not going to want to leave it in some of those poses, you know, long term.
Right.
But for a couple photos, three face plates, a head sculpt with the PERS system. I mean, this is fucking sweet. I think this is a cool Batman to own, but I don't think it's the Batman to own. Keaton Batman.
That makes sense because, again, like I said, it's Luke Skywalker, right? I mean, you know, most people would rather own a Bespin Luke, or they would rather own a Mando Luke, or Return of the Jedi, or whatever, than they would an older Luke. And maybe it's just because of the film, right? But also a good comparison would be older Obi-Wan versus younger Obi-Wan. Because
that's true.
Both films are good, right? I think so. That's like, if you guys were to have to own older Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness, or Ewan McGregor, say the head sculpts are both the equal quality, which one would you pick? I'd probably pick Alec Guinness myself.
Alec Guinness, yeah.
I go Ewan because I'm a prequel fan.
See,
I love prequels.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I guess it depends which era you grew up on, but I think most collectors probably grew up with Batman 89, which is why it's an easier choice. It's just going to depend on what era and what film. As long as the films are relatively both good or equal, right?
Yeah.
And the figures, you're going to probably go for the more nostalgic.
Yeah, I mean, Batman 89. Let's not get it twisted. It's pretty campy. It's very silly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And even the sequel, was that Batman Forever? Which was the second one?
Or was it Returns?
Was it Returns?
Batman Forever was the Val Kilmer one?
I think Forever is the newer one, later one. Yeah. I thought it was Returns.
Look at his smiling face though. That one's a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
They're definitely silly movies, and not that the new movies aren't silly, but they're a little bit more badass, I will say. But sometimes that doesn't necessarily equate to a more memorable film. And sometimes, you know, campy is what people remember and kind of have like a cult following. And yeah, I just long term, I think people are still going to really enjoy those older films as opposed to the newer stuff. Because I mean, we're gonna see a different actor play Batman in another fucking 5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
We
Right.
are. I don't think
there'll be
ever gonna-
another.
There's never gonna not be a Batman franchise. Going
Exactly, and I just think that those films literally started everything. Even new collectors will go back and watch those and enjoy them for what they are. So
Well, eventually we're gonna reach the point, guys, where it's like, what new can you do with this character? You know, because it's
Right.
you know, now they're doing the detective thing with Robert Pattinson.
Exactly.
And, like, what more?
There's not
can
a
you
lot of
actually do?
ideas to
Right,
go for.
right. Because I'm sure DC. Well, I think that's why it's good that James Gunn is starting to run things. He's going to be like,
Yeah.
we got to have a vision for this. You know, it's But I'm
Right,
excited they still have this sort of offshoot stuff, like the Batman and Joker 2 and stuff like
Same.
that. Like, I'm excited they're still doing that. So I wouldn't even be opposed if Marvel did something like that. Like if they had sort of
That would
like
be cool.
just a random thing and just one
Different
off.
universe.
Yeah. So it can be cool. Anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below on this Batman. Let us know. I meant to post a poll, but I forgot. I was too engaged in the discussion. So let me know whether you think this is the Batman to own or not. And yeah, it should be pretty exciting. I know we got a super chat from Mr. Nick's
Oh God.
Collectibles.
Don't pull this up.
I know.
Please
I want to
don't.
bring it up because it gave him a little reward on the screen. Toys R Keaton sculpt is better. IMO roast me. Nick,
Toys
is he being serious? Right?
He is. He genuinely believes that. So
okay.
Hey, to be fair, Toys Era, that certain Keaton was made by a Hot Toy sculptor. I think they're called Yixi or something. But nah, man. The Hot Toys.
Yeah, no, I haven't even seen it, but Nick is tripping. So yeah, I haven't even seen it.
yeah, which
but...
Keaton is he talking about? Like the Falcon or what the hell is it called?
Yeah. He's talking about the Vulture. It was like I think it was called the
Vulture.
Scavenger. That's what the name of the Toys Era was.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And I saw someone pointed out they were saying like it looks like Keaton looks a little bit too. They put it as weathered, and I was like, yeah, they meant aged, but essentially like they made him look too old. And I was like, well, he is pretty old. So I mean,
Dude, he's an old guy. Yeah. I mean,
Hot Toys does a really good job with older male head sculpts. They do a really 100%. Good job with those typically. Like Count Dooku is awesome. Like that. Alec Guinness is awesome. Tarkin is pretty good. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. Most people love it, but they have a lot of really good ones like that. The Old Man Luke from Crate is really good.
Krennic.
Krennic, great. So they tend to do good with those. Like when they can do do the wrinkles and stuff like that. So
right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Nick, thank you so much, bro. And guys, again, check out Nick's show this Sunday, the 1-6 Wrestling. It's going to be pretty exciting.